You are asking the universe wrong. Every night you lay your head down carrying the weight of unfulfilled desires. You whisper prayers into darkness. You beg, you plead, you hope tomorrow will be different. But here is what no one has told you. The universe does not respond to begging. It responds to assumption. Tonight I will teach you to speak the only language the universe understands. Not words, not wishes, but the felt reality of having already received. You see, most people believe asking means requesting something they do not have. This is the first error. This is why millions pray for decades and remain empty-handed. They are speaking from lack to lack, and lack is what they receive in return. But what if asking was not about requesting at all? What if asking was about claiming? What if the very moment you assume something is yours, the universe has no choice but to deliver it? The wealthy man does not ask for money. He assumes he has it. The loved woman does not beg for affection. She knows she is cherished. The healthy person does not plead for healing. They dwell in perfect vitality. This is not positive thinking. This is not visualization. This is the ancient art of assumption, the sacred science of living from the end rather than toward it. Tonight, when your head touches that pillow, you will not be the same person who has been waiting, wanting, hoping. You will become the person who already has. And when you become that person in consciousness, the world must reshape itself to match your inner conviction. For the universe is not outside of you, granting or denying your requests. The universe is within you, responding to your every assumption about yourself and your world. What you accept as true becomes true. What you feel is real becomes real. What you assume you are, you become. Most people live their entire lives backward. They wait for evidence before they believe. They want proof before they assume. But creation works in reverse. You must believe before you see. You must assume before you receive. And the most powerful time to make this shift is in those sacred moments before sleep, when the veil between conscious and subconscious is thinnest, when your defenses are down, when your mind is open to accept new truths about reality. Let me tell you about Sarah. 6 months ago, she was living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt, watching wealthy people on social media while eating dinner alone in her studio apartment. Every night she would pray for money. She would ask the universe to send her financial relief. She would visualize winning the lottery, finding money, getting a raise. Nothing changed. Month after month, the same struggle. Then one evening, exhausted from another day of financial stress, she heard something that changed everything. A simple truth that shattered her understanding of how manifestation works. She learned that the universe does not respond to wanting, it responds to being. So that night, instead of asking for money, she tried something different. She lay in bed and imagined it was already hers. Not that it was coming, not that she hoped for it, but that she already had it. She created a simple scene in her mind. She saw herself looking at her bank statement, showing a balance of $50,000. She felt the relief flooding through her body. She felt the security, the freedom, the gratitude. She made it so real that her body relaxed completely, as if the stress of financial worry had never existed. But here is the crucial part. She did not do this once and forget about it. She returned to this scene every single night. She made it her nightly ritual. Before sleep, she would enter this reality where she was already financially free. Some nights, doubt would creep in. Her logical mind would say, "This is foolish. You still have bills you cannot pay." But she learned to smile at these thoughts and return to her scene. She learned that doubt was just old programming trying to maintain control. Week after week she persisted, even when nothing seemed to change in her outer world, even when the bills kept coming, even when people questioned her new, quiet confidence about money. Then, in the 6th week, something unexpected happened. She received a call from a lawyer. A distant relative she had never met had passed away and left her exactly $53,000, the exact amount she had been feeling grateful for every night. But this is not the end of the story. This is where most people would stop and call it coincidence. Sarah understood something deeper. She realized that this inheritance was not separate from her nightly assumption. It was the natural result of it. You see, when you assume something is true about yourself, the universe rearranges itself to reflect that assumption. People, circumstances, events, opportunities, they all begin to move in ways that bring forth what you have accepted as real. Sarah had not just received money. She had become someone who has money, someone who expects abundance, someone who feels worthy of financial freedom. And now her external world was catching up to her internal transformation. 6 months later, that inheritance has grown to over $100,000 through investments that seem to present themselves naturally. She changed careers to something she loves and now earns more than she ever thought possible. But she will tell you that the real miracle was not the money. The real miracle was the night she stopped asking for what she wanted and started being who she needed to become. This is available to you tonight, in those precious moments before sleep when your conscious mind surrenders control and your subconscious becomes impressionable. The question is not whether this works. The question is whether you will dare to try it. Now let me explain to you exactly why this works, so your mind cannot doubt what your heart already knows to be true. Consciousness is the only reality. Everything you see, touch, and experience is consciousness made visible. The chair you sit in, the room around you, the people in your life, all of it is consciousness crystallized into form. And at the center of your consciousness is a divine creative principle. Call it what you will: imagination, the higher self, the divine within. This principle does not judge your assumptions. It does not decide what is possible or impossible. It simply takes whatever you accept as true and makes it manifest in your world. Most people do not understand the power they possess. They believe they are subject to circumstances, to other people, to luck, to fate. But the truth is far more empowering and far more responsibility-laden than that. You are the author of your experience. Every single thing in your life exists because at some level, conscious or unconscious, you accepted it as true. The job you have, the relationships around you, the money in your bank account, the state of your health, all of it corresponds to your deepest assumptions about yourself and life. But here is where it gets interesting. Most of your assumptions were not chosen consciously. They were absorbed from family, society, past experiences. You inherited beliefs about what is possible for someone like you, about what you deserve, about how life works. These assumptions are running in the background of your mind like software, creating your experience automatically. The person who assumes they are unlucky keeps experiencing bad luck. The person who assumes they are unlovable keeps attracting rejection. The person who assumes money is hard to come by keeps struggling financially. But assumptions can be changed. And the most powerful time to change them is in that liminal space between waking and sleeping, when your conscious mind's defenses are lowered and your subconscious is receptive to new impressions. This is why asking the universe before sleep is so effective. Not because there is some external force listening to your requests, but because in that relaxed state, you can implant new assumptions directly into the creative center of your being. When you lie down tonight and imagine your desire fulfilled, you are not fantasizing. You are programming. You are installing new software. You are teaching your consciousness what reality looks like when your wish is granted. But, and this is crucial, you must do more than visualize. You must assume. You must feel it real. You must live in that reality, even if only for those few moments before sleep claims you. The difference between visualization and assumption is this. Visualization says, I hope this will happen. Assumption says, this is happening. Visualization keeps you separate from your desire. Assumption makes you one with it. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is intensely imagined. When you feel something deeply, when you make it vivid and emotionally compelling, your subconscious accepts it as fact and begins to reorganize your life around this new fact. This is not magic. This is mechanics. This is how consciousness operates. What you persist in feeling and assuming must, by law, externalize itself in your world. Think about it this way. Every invention was first imagined. Every building was first blueprinted in someone's mind. Every relationship began with someone imagining companionship. The external world is always catching up to the internal world. But most people imagine randomly, inconsistently, without feeling or conviction. They think about what they want for a few minutes, then spend the rest of their day thinking about what they don't want, what they fear, what they lack. This scattered approach produces scattered results. To manifest effectively, you must be disciplined about your inner world. You must be intentional about what you assume. You must persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it becomes natural to you. And sleep is your greatest ally in this process. Every night as you drift off, your brain waves slow down. Your critical faculty relaxes. Your subconscious becomes highly suggestible. This is nature's built-in manifestation window. What you impress upon your mind in these moments before sleep sinks deep into your consciousness and works while you rest. Your subconscious does not sleep. It is always working, always creating, always bringing forth what you have accepted as true. So when you assume your desire is fulfilled as you fall asleep, you are giving your subconscious its marching orders. You are programming it to create experiences, opportunities, and circumstances that match your assumption. This is why the wealthy get wealthier, the loved feel more loved, the successful become more successful, not because of external advantages, but because they naturally assume more wealth, love, and success. Their inner state creates their outer circumstances. The process is so simple it seems impossible, and yet it is so natural you have been doing it unconsciously your entire life. Now you simply need to do it consciously, deliberately, with full knowledge of the power you wield. Now I want you to understand exactly how to use these final moments before sleep to reshape your reality. This is not theory anymore. This is application. This is where transformation begins. Tonight, when you prepare for bed, you will follow a specific sequence. Every step matters. Every detail serves the greater purpose of impressing your subconscious with a new truth about your life. First, as you lie down, release the day completely. Do not rehearse its failures or replay its frustrations. Do not carry its energy into the sacred space of creation you are about to enter. Breathe deeply and let it all go. The day is done. Its version of you is dissolving. Now close your eyes and go within. In this inner space, you are not bound by physical limitations. You are not restricted by current circumstances. You are pure consciousness, pure creative potential, able to experience any reality you choose. Here is what you will do, and you must do it with feeling, with conviction, with the complete suspension of disbelief. You will construct a scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled, not that it is coming, not that you hope for it, but that you are living it now. If you desire financial abundance, do not imagine money coming to you. Instead, imagine you already have it. See yourself calmly writing a check for your dream home. Feel the pen in your hand, see your signature on the paper, hear yourself saying to the realtor, "Yes, I'll take it." Feel the keys being placed in your palm. If you desire love, do not imagine meeting someone special. Instead, imagine you are already in that perfect relationship. Feel their hand in yours. Hear them say, "I love you," as you both laugh about something silly. Sense their warmth beside you as you both drift off to sleep. Feel completely cherished, completely chosen, completely loved. If you desire perfect health, do not imagine being healed. Instead, imagine you are already whole and vital. See yourself running upstairs effortlessly. Feel the strength in your muscles, the clear flow of your breath. Hear your doctor say, "Your test results are perfect." Feel the pure joy of a body that serves you completely. If you desire career success, do not imagine applying for your dream job. Instead, imagine you already have it. See yourself walking into your beautiful office. Feel the respect in people's voices when they speak to you. Hear someone say, "Congratulations on your promotion." Sense the satisfaction of work that fulfills your deepest purpose. The key is to make it specific, personal, and emotionally compelling. Include sensory details. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you smell? The more vivid and detailed your scene, the more powerfully it will impress your subconscious. But most importantly, you must feel it real. You must emotionally experience the reality of having what you want. If the scene doesn't move you, if it doesn't create actual feeling in your body, then you are just thinking about it, not living it. When you feel genuine gratitude for what you are experiencing in imagination, when relief floods your body, when joy bubbles up from within, when peace settles over you, then you know you have successfully entered the state of the wish fulfilled. Some nights this will be easy. The scene will feel natural, believable, emotionally satisfying. Other nights your rational mind will resist. It will say, "This is not real. You are just pretending. Look at your actual circumstances." When this happens, and it will happen, do not fight these thoughts. Simply smile and return to your scene. Remember that your rational mind is programmed to maintain the status quo. It sees imagination as threat to its version of reality. But your imagination is not fantasy. It is prophecy. The feelings you generate in your scene are real feelings. The relief you experience is real relief. The joy you feel is real joy, and feelings are the language your subconscious understands. When you feel something intensely, your subconscious accepts it as fact and begins to create circumstances to match that feeling. You may loop your scene several times, experiencing it from different angles. You may enhance certain details, making them more vivid and compelling. The important thing is to dwell in the feeling until it becomes natural, until it feels like memory rather than imagination. As you feel yourself growing drowsy, as sleep begins to take you, let your scene be the last thing in your consciousness. Let the feeling of fulfillment carry you into sleep. This is the moment of greatest power, when your scene sinks deep into your subconscious without any interference from your conscious mind. Do not worry about how your desire will manifest. Do not try to figure out the steps or the timing. Your job is not to orchestrate the how. Your job is to assume the what. The universe will handle the details, often in ways far more beautiful and surprising than you could have planned. Repeat this process every single night. Make it your sacred ritual. Some nights you may feel more connected to it than others. That is natural, but persist regardless of how you feel. Consistency is more important than intensity. What you are doing is revolutionary. You are taking conscious control of your unconscious programming. You are becoming the director of your own experience rather than its victim. You are remembering that you are not separate from what you want. You are one with it in consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality that matters. Now let me address what will surely arise as you begin this practice. Your mind will rebel, your logic will resist, your past will seem to argue against your new assumption. This is natural. This is expected. This is part of the process, not evidence that the process is failing. You see, your conscious mind has been trained to accept only what the senses report as real. It believes in evidence, in proof, in gradual progress. But consciousness operates by different laws. Consciousness can assume any state instantly and make it real through persistence. When you begin to assume your desire is fulfilled, your rational mind will say, "But look at your bank account, look at your empty house, look at your current circumstances. How can you pretend something is true when clearly it is not?" Here is what you must understand. Your current circumstances are not the truth about you. They are simply the crystallization of your past assumptions. They are old news, echoes of who you used to believe yourself to be. When a movie plays on a screen, the images you see are not happening now. They were recorded in the past, edited, and are now being projected. Similarly, your current reality is the projection of past beliefs, past assumptions, past states of consciousness. But you are not bound to replay the same movie forever. You can change the film. You can feed new images into the projector. And when you persist in your new assumption despite contradictory evidence, you are literally changing the script of your life. Do not be disturbed when nothing seems to change immediately. Seeds planted in the ground are not visible for weeks, yet no farmer doubts that growth is occurring beneath the surface. Your assumption is growing in consciousness, preparing to sprout in your external world. Do not be swayed when people question your new confidence. When they ask why you seem so certain about something that has not happened yet, simply smile. You know something they do not. You have tasted the reality of your fulfilled desire. You have lived it in consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality. Do not be discouraged when old patterns try to reassert themselves, when worry tries to creep back in, when fear whispers that you are being foolish, when doubt suggests you are wasting your time. These are just the death throes of your old self, the self that believed in limitation and lack. Remember that assumption hardens into fact through repetition and persistence. The first night you assume your desire is fulfilled, you plant a seed. The second night you water it. The third night you nurture it. With each night of persistence, your assumption becomes more natural, more believable, more real to you. And something miraculous happens when your assumption becomes natural. You stop looking for evidence that it is working. You stop questioning whether it will manifest. You simply know that it is done, that it has already happened in consciousness, and that the external world will catch up in perfect timing. This knowing is not belief. Belief implies doubt is possible. This knowing is assumption, complete acceptance, unshakable conviction that what you have experienced in consciousness is your reality. But what if weeks pass and you see no evidence? What if months go by and your circumstances seem unchanged? This is the ultimate test of your faith in consciousness. The one who wavers, who looks to the external world for validation, who changes their assumption based on appearances, will see no change. But the one who persists, who remains faithful to their assumption regardless of evidence, who continues to feel their desire fulfilled night after night, will see their world transform in ways that seem miraculous to others but natural to them. You must understand that time as you know it does not exist in consciousness. In consciousness, your desire is already fulfilled. It is done. It is finished. The only question is whether you will remain faithful to this truth or abandon it for the illusion of current circumstances. Most people give up too soon. They assume for a few weeks, see no external change, and conclude that the process does not work. But they have misunderstood the process. The process is not about making something happen. The process is about becoming someone who already has what they want. When you truly become this person in consciousness, when you naturally assume abundance, love, health, success, not as goals to achieve, but as current realities to enjoy, then your external world must conform. It has no choice. External circumstances are always the shadow of internal states. So when resistance arises, when doubt creeps in, when logic argues against your assumption, simply return to your scene. Return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Return to the state of having rather than wanting. Do not engage in arguments with doubt. Do not try to convince yourself that your assumption is reasonable. Simply dwell in the feeling of your desire fulfilled until that feeling becomes more real to you than any external evidence to the contrary. This is the great secret that separates those who transform their lives from those who remain trapped in circumstances. The former learn to trust their inner experience more than their outer evidence. The latter remain prisoners of their senses, forever waiting for the external world to change before they dare to believe in something better. You are not most people. You are someone who has learned to create from within rather than react from without. You are someone who understands that consciousness is the only reality and assumption is the key to all transformation. Now let me take you deeper into this practice, because most people stop at the surface level and wonder why their results are surface level too. What I am about to share with you will transform your entire relationship with desire, with manifestation, with reality itself. You are not just learning a technique, you are awakening to your true nature as the creator of your experience. When you construct your scene each night, you must understand that you are not pretending. You are not engaging in make-believe. You are entering a higher dimension of reality where your desire already exists in perfect completion. Every desire that arises in your heart exists somewhere in consciousness. If it did not already exist, you could not desire it. The very fact that you can imagine something means it is possible, because imagination draws only from what exists in the infinite storehouse of consciousness. So when you imagine your desire fulfilled, you are not creating something new. You are selecting something that already exists. You are tuning into a frequency where your desire is already manifest. You are adjusting your consciousness to match the version of reality where you already have what you want. This is why the feeling is so crucial. Feeling is your compass. When you feel genuine joy, relief, gratitude, or satisfaction in your scene, you know you have successfully tuned into the frequency of fulfillment. When the scene feels mechanical or empty, you know you are still operating from the frequency of want rather than have. But here is where most people make a critical error. They create their scene, feel it for a few moments, then immediately return to their ordinary consciousness where they continue to think and speak from lack. They might spend 5 minutes imagining abundance, then spend the next 23 hours and 55 minutes thinking about how broke they are. They imagine being loved for a few moments, then spend the rest of their day feeling lonely and unworthy. This contradictory approach cancels out their manifestation efforts. It is like planting a garden and then immediately flooding it with weed killer. To truly transform your life, you must begin to live from your assumption throughout your day, not just in those moments before sleep. You must begin to think, speak, and act as the person who already has what they want. This does not mean pretending in a way that feels false or forced. It means gradually adjusting your inner speech, your mental habits, your emotional responses to align with your desired reality. If you are assuming abundance, you stop complaining about money. You stop checking your bank balance compulsively. You stop engaging in conversations about lack. Instead, you begin to speak confidently about your financial security. You make decisions from abundance rather than scarcity. You feel generous rather than anxious about money. If you are assuming love, you stop searching desperately for relationship. You stop feeling incomplete when alone. You stop settling for less than you truly want. Instead, you begin to feel loved by life itself. You treat yourself with the care you would show someone precious. You move through the world with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are cherished. If you are assuming health, you stop identifying with illness. You stop speaking about your symptoms constantly. You stop researching diseases and expecting the worst. Instead, you begin to feel grateful for your body. You nourish yourself with love rather than fear. You move with the vitality of someone who expects to feel wonderful. This shift from wanting to being is the most important aspect of this practice. Anyone can visualize for a few minutes, but only those who learn to live from their assumption 24 hours a day will see their desires manifest quickly and naturally. You must become so identified with your desired state that you forget you ever lived differently. Your assumption must become so natural that you cannot imagine being the person who wanted what you now have. This is not difficult when you understand that you are not becoming someone else. You are revealing who you truly are beneath all the conditioning, all the limiting beliefs, all the false identities you have accumulated over the years. The abundant you is not foreign. It is your natural state. The loved you is not a fantasy. It is who you have always been. The healthy you is not a goal. It is your birthright. You are simply remembering and reclaiming what has always been yours. As you practice this night after night, you will notice something wonderful happening. The line between your imagined reality and your physical reality will begin to blur. What once felt like fantasy will start to feel like memory. What once seemed impossible will start to feel inevitable. This is the sign that your assumption is hardening into fact. This is when you know your manifestation is imminent, When your desire no longer feels like desire but like natural expectation, you have succeeded in consciousness and external success must follow. You will also notice that you begin to naturally attract people, situations, and opportunities that match your new assumption. This is not coincidence. This is consciousness in action. Like attracts like. Your inner state draws its match from the external world. The person who truly assumes abundance does not just receive money. They begin to notice opportunities everywhere. They start conversations that lead to new income streams. They find themselves in the right place at the right time. Their whole world reorganizes itself around their assumption of abundance. The person who truly assumes love does not just attract a romantic partner. They begin to feel love from all directions. They notice the kindness of strangers. They feel connected to life itself. They become magnetic to all forms of love and appreciation. This is how you know the process is working. Not by the specific manifestation appearing immediately, but by the general quality of your life beginning to match your assumption. So commit to this practice completely. Make it your sacred ritual. Let it become the most important part of your day, because in these moments before sleep, you are literally determining the script for tomorrow's experience. You are not asking the universe for permission. You are not hoping for external approval. You are claiming your birthright as the creator of your reality. You are assuming the state you wish to experience and trusting that consciousness will make it manifest in perfect timing. But now we must address the most crucial element of all. Without this, everything I have shared remains mere information rather than transformation. You must feel, not think, not visualize mechanically, not repeat affirmations without emotion. You must feel your way into the reality of your fulfilled desire. Most people approach manifestation from their head when they should be approaching it from their heart. They think their way through scenes rather than feeling their way into them. But consciousness responds to feeling, not thinking. Emotion is the language your subconscious understands. When you imagine your desire fulfilled, let it stir something deep within you. Let it awaken genuine emotion. Let it move you the way a beautiful piece of music moves you, the way a touching story moves you, the way true love moves you. If you are imagining financial abundance, do not just see the numbers in your bank account. Feel the relief washing over your entire body. Feel your shoulders releasing tension you have carried for years. Feel the deep exhale of someone who no longer worries about survival. Feel the joy of being able to give generously to those you love. If you are imagining perfect health, do not just see yourself looking healthy. Feel the vitality coursing through your veins. Feel the strength in your muscles. Feel the clear, easy flow of your breath. Feel the pure satisfaction of a body that serves you perfectly. If you are imagining true love, do not just see your perfect partner. Feel the warmth of their embrace. Feel the security of being completely accepted. Feel the joy that bubbles up when you think of them. Feel the peace of being exactly where you belong. If you are imagining career success, do not just see yourself in your dream role. Feel the pride of work that fulfills you. Feel the respect in people's voices when they speak to you. Feel the satisfaction of contributing something meaningful to the world. Feel the confidence of someone who has found their calling. The feeling is what makes it real to your subconscious. The feeling is what impresses the experience upon your consciousness. The feeling is what creates the magnetic pull that draws your desire into manifestation. But here is what most people do not understand about feeling. You cannot force it. You cannot manufacture emotion through effort. You can only create the conditions where genuine feeling can arise naturally. This is why your scene must be personal, specific, and meaningful to you. It must be something that genuinely matters to you, something that would truly change your life, something that connects to your deepest values and desires. If your scene feels empty or mechanical, do not persist with it out of stubbornness. Adjust it. Find the angle that moves you. Find the details that create authentic emotion. Find the version of your fulfilled desire that makes your heart sing. Sometimes this means starting with a smaller scene that feels more believable. If imagining $1 million feels impossible, Start with 10,000. If imagining perfect health feels unrealistic, start with feeling better than you do today. The important thing is that whatever you imagine creates genuine feeling. As that smaller scene becomes natural and emotionally satisfying, you can expand it. You can gradually increase the magnitude of what you assume until you are comfortably dwelling in states that once seemed impossible, but never sacrifice feeling for grandiosity. A small scene that moves you deeply is infinitely more powerful than a grand scene that leaves you cold. And here is the secret that will accelerate your results beyond anything you can imagine. When you feel genuine emotion for your imagined scene, do not hold back. Do not be embarrassed by the depth of your feeling. Let it fill you completely. Let it overwhelm you with joy, with gratitude, with relief, with love. These moments of pure feeling are moments of pure creation. In these moments, you are not separate from your desire. You are one with it. You are living it. You are being it. And what you are being, you become. So tonight, do not just visualize your desire fulfilled. Feel it fulfilled. Let the emotion of having what you want consume you completely. Let it be so real that you forget you are imagining. Let it be so satisfying that you drift into sleep with a smile on your face and gratitude in your heart. This is how you ask the universe, not with words but with feeling, not by requesting but by receiving, not by begging but by being. What I have shared with you tonight is not mere technique. It is not positive thinking dressed up in mystical language. It is the fundamental law by which consciousness creates reality. You now possess the key to transformation, but a key is useless unless it is used. Knowledge without application remains mere information. You must do this. You must practice this. You must make this your nightly ritual. Starting tonight, you will approach sleep differently. You will no longer collapse into bed carrying the day's burdens. You will no longer use your pillow as a place to worry about tomorrow's challenges. Instead, you will transform your bedroom into a sacred space of creation. For the next 30 days, commit to this practice completely. Every single night, without exception, you will construct your scene and feel it real. Some nights will be easier than others. Some nights the feeling will be strong and natural. Other nights you may struggle to connect emotionally to your scene. Practice anyway. Persist anyway. Return to your assumption anyway. Because here is what happens when you persist. Despite appearances, despite doubt, despite the seeming lack of immediate results, your assumption begins to harden into fact. What feels like pretending gradually becomes natural. What seems impossible slowly feels inevitable. And then in ways you cannot predict, in timing you cannot control, in circumstances that will surprise and delight you, your desire will manifest. Not because you forced it, not because you figured out how to make it happen, but because you became the person who naturally has it. The universe does not care about your current circumstances. It does not care about your past failures. It does not care about what seems realistic or unrealistic. The universe responds only to your assumption about yourself and your life. When you assume abundance, abundance finds you. When you assume love, love surrounds you. When you assume health, vitality flows through you. When you assume success, opportunities present themselves everywhere. But you must persist through the period where your outer world has not yet caught up to your inner transformation. This is where most people fail. They assume for a few days or weeks, see no external change, and conclude the process does not work. But the process is always working. Consciousness is always creating. Your assumptions are always hardening into fact. The question is not whether it works, but whether you will persist long enough to see the manifestation. I am telling you with absolute certainty that if you practice what I have taught you tonight, if you make feeling your desire fulfilled a nightly ritual, if you persist despite appearances, your life will transform in ways that will astound you. 30 days from now, you will look back on tonight as the beginning of everything, not because something magical happened to you, but because you finally understood the magic that has always been within you. But here is the most important thing I can tell you. Do not treat this as a one-time lesson. Return to these words again and again. Each time you listen, you will hear something new, understand something deeper, feel something more powerfully. Your consciousness is like a garden. It must be tended daily. You cannot plant seeds once and expect them to grow without care. You must water them with repetition, nourish them with feeling, protect them from the weeds of doubt. So return to this teaching. Make it part of you. Let these truths sink so deep into your consciousness that they become your natural way of thinking, feeling, and being. And when your desires begin to manifest, and they will manifest, do not stop the practice. Do not think you have graduated beyond the need for conscious creation. Instead, expand your assumptions. Assume greater abundance, deeper love, perfect health, unlimited success. For there is no limit to what consciousness can create. There is no ceiling on what you can experience. There is no restriction on what you can become except the restrictions you accept in your own mind. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are not subject to random forces beyond your control. You are the conscious creator of your experience, the author of your story, the director of your life. Tonight, when you lay your head upon your pillow, you will not be the same person who began listening to these words. Tonight, you begin as someone who knows their power, who understands their purpose, who assumes their desires are already fulfilled. The old you, the one who begged and pleaded and hoped, is dissolving. The new you, the one who claims and assumes and receives, is emerging. And this new you will create a life beyond your imagination. It is done.